Yo, this is a special one for me. I love going over Daniel chapter 12, verses 1 through 2, because that idol in the New Testament always get exalted right here. And I love when I can exalt Abba, Yahweh, the Creator. I want to break this down and put it in its true perspective so you can understand what does this mean. This has nothing to do with the resurrection. This has nothing to do with no Christ. But this has everything to do with his people, the so-called Negro, the so-called African American, our ancestors and our people today. I want to break this down, right? So when you read Daniel chapter 12, it's talking about how Yahweh will have Micah or Michael, right? The chief angel to watch over his people. Now, for those who feel like they always got protection or a so-called guardian angel or something is always preventing you from getting hurt, and you are, I'm not going to just say of a Negro though, but just of all people, that is your highest chief angel, Michael, right? Protecting, but primary in this verse, the so-called Negro, the true nation of Yasharala, right? So it's talking about that. So then when you get down here to this next verse, and this is the most important breakdown, it reads, "And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never has been since there was a nation till that time," the time we in now, and the times we've been going through. But then it reads, "But at that time your people shall be delivered." That's what we're waiting on, right? "Everyone whose name shall be found written in the book. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt." And this is where you get the resurrection, the New Testament, and all that crazy stuff from a misinterpretation, right? And this is what this means right here, where it says, "But at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone whose name shall be found written in the book." Whose name is found written in the book? Our ancestors, us, our future prophecy, right? We are we are the descendants of our ancestors, and Yahweh has a specific covenant that he made with us. And there's a prophecy in Malachi chapter 3, verses 16 through 18, right? So these people that's found written in the book is the covenant people, the remnant who Yahweh will deliver, right? Because where our prophecy is written in the book is right there. And Yahweh has us numbered, and he has our name down. He know where we are. He know who he's going to deliver. We are the people found written in the book, right? The book of Yahweh, right? This book right here, the so-called Old Testament, the original covenant, this book. So that's what that part means. So then when you get to the part where it says, "And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life," it should not read like that. It should say, "And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake to what? To to the law of Yahweh." If you understand, just read Google, because it is the law that is our salvation. It is the law which brings life. "Return to the law and you shall live, for the law gives life. To depart from the law, which we are up under the curse." We are a nation of people who are up under the curse, up under our oppressors. So we are not up under this law. But when we awake, right? So it says, "Some shall awake," a remnant. Some shall awake to Yahweh's law. And within that law, they will attain life, because Yahweh will, he will preserve you and you will be delivered. You will be part of that remnant. That's why it says many of those, many, right? So then the second part, then it says, And the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life. I explain that part. Then some to shame and everlasting contempt. Now, this is the most important key part right here, because shame and everlasting contempt means being humiliated and prideful and feeling like it's worthless and not worth considering. Also, mocking, right? Because when you awake and you find out who you are, you're like, okay, I'm not just a slave. I'm not an African American. I'm not just a Negro. I am of the chosen nation of Yasharala. I am a son and daughter of Zion, right? And then you start putting the pieces together, putting the puzzle together, and you start seeing what your forefathers was going through, your ancestors was going through. You start seeing what your family is going through, your relationships is going through, your kids is going through, everything, right? And then you start seeing that we are up under a system where you see no solution, you see no change, you see leaders rising up, but these leaders are wicked and corrupted. So you don't see and you don't even consider at all. You feel like it is worthless to acknowledge who you are and return to your higher, right? So you'll notice how you're being humiliated, and then you'll notice how prideful you are. Your pride keeps you in what? Idolatry, into the Christ figure, into the worldly things, into vanity, into the ways of the heathen, stuck in your traditions. Your vulnerabilities will take over. So that's why it says shame and everlasting contempt, because that's shameful, right? Not considering, right? Because you can't take the fact that we are being humiliated every single day as a people. We're constantly being called bywords and proverbs. We're constantly being humiliated. We're constantly being oppressed. It's so easy to just make us the butt of a joke, right? So you turn from your higher. So that's why it's only many. And that's why it's only some, only a few, a remnant, right? So that's how you look at it. You look at things that it's it's not worth returning. It's not worth serving Yahweh in our oppressed land under these oppressors' rules. So then you start mocking Yahweh and your heritage and your people by claiming you're Kemet, Egyptian, into spirituality, African, right? You calling yourself a god. You're calling yourself a goddess. You're all of these things now, right? You're mocking the Almighty. You're mocking your higher. You're mocking yourself. This is what this means. So those who was doing that with a very prideful and arrogant and wicked heart, you not of the book of Yahweh. You are not part of the some and the many. You are part of the shame and the contempt, because you constantly mock. You constantly degrade Yahweh. You constantly show no compassion and no care for your people. You don't consider your history. You only consider things that can profit and benefit you temporarily. You think you can claim to be an Indian and get respect and get valued, and get temporary pleasure. You want to call yourself an Egyptian. You want to be a god. You want to be a goddess. You want to be a witch. You want to be a warlock. You want to be all of these things, just mocking your higher, because your pride won't let you face the simple fact that your people have been oppressed, still being oppressed. We have less. We can't come together. We can't ride for each other. We can't stick together. We can't do things for each other. We can't come together. We can't build. We can't do nothing. All we do is insult each other. All we do is take from each other, hurt each other. We ain't real with each other. We ain't nothing with each other. You can't take that humiliation that everyone in this world can look at you and look at you with astonishment like, why are they like this? And that's humiliating, because you see no solution. You seeing all your plant-based leaders that's been planted before you take a fall, gone, unalive, not here. So the humiliation